This is our video for Thursday, April 9th, and our objective today is we're going to talk about how to add and subtract and multiply matrices with a calculator. You had your quiz, and the intention was for you to do your quiz without your calculator. You may have already figured all this out, but we're going to talk about how to use your calculator. Kind of our week so far. You had multiplying matrices on Monday, had our quiz on Tuesday. For Wednesday, you had a little survey and talked to you about the changes with our AMI instruction. Today, I want to talk about the matrices with your calculators, and tomorrow we're going to talk about inverse matrices and calculator. For those of you that are going to take a college algebra class, you will you will see matrices, and you will do some of the work by hand and you'll do some of the work with the calculator. And so I wanted to make sure that you could do both. And so these topics with matrices are things that you would see in a college algebra class or a finite mathematics class. We don't use them in calculus, but they are in some upper level and beyond math classes. And so these are good things for you to know. What you would see on a ACT would probably just be the adding, subtracting, the equal matrices, the multiplying, maybe some inverse, and then we'll talk a little bit about determinants next week. So we're kind of hitting a little bit of ACT, hitting some college class work with just kind of understanding matrices, but this isn't calculus, which is okay. All right, so you need your books open to page 514, and you need your graphing calculator. So let's see if we can see that. All right, so I want to start with number 5. And on number 5, we have matrix A, which is 1, -1, 2, -1. And matrix B is 2, -1, -1, 8. And the directions say that they want us to add A and B. They want us to subtract A and B. They want us to take 3 times A. And then they want us to do 3A minus 2B. And again, you had problems like this on Friday, but you were to do them by hand. And I want to talk about how you can do these with your calculator. So the first thing, let's see if I can get this so we can see everything. First thing that you need to do is figure out where your matrix button is. And the matrix button is right here. So I'm going to hit second matrix. And I have some matrices already in here. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit better. And so I want to go in and I want to clear those out. So if you want to clear your matrices, you're going to hit second plus sign. So you're going to go second plus sign, which is memory. And inside the memory, you see this number 2. You want to manage or delete. So you're going to hit number 2. And then you'll see that number 5 says matrices. So I'm going to hit number 5. And then you can see the individual matrices, and you can delete as needed. So I'm just going to hit the delete button, and my matrix A goes away, and my matrix B goes away. And then I can just go second quit. All right, so I'm going to go back to second matrix. And you can store all kinds of matrices in here. But we're just going to use A and B. And so our first step is to arrow over to edit. And so if you are going to put in matrices, you want to go to the edit feature. Let me scoot this over. And I want to edit number 1. So I'm just going to go in to number 1, which is matrix A. And the first thing it asks for are the dimensions. And my matrix A is a 2 by 2. So I'm just going to 2, enter, and 2. And you have to hit enter after every number that you put in. And then you're just going to put in your numbers. So I've got 1, enter, -1, 2, -1. And it's nice how they put it up here in exactly the same format as we have here. And then don't forget you need to hit second quit to get out of this matrix and for it to save. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to my matrix and I'm going to edit. But this time I want number 2. And that's going to be my matrix B. And it is also a 2 by 2. And I'm just going to enter it into -1, -1, and 8. And I'm going to hit second quit. Okay. So if I go back to matrix, and let's say I wanted to look at matrix A, I can just hit number 1 and enter, and it shows me what I have. And it shows it in matrix form. And I can do the same thing. I can go back, number 2, enter, and it shows me exactly what I have entered. So that's kind of cool. All right, so now we just need to add matrix A and matrix B together. So I'm going to go second matrix, number 1. I'm going to hit the plus sign. Second matrix, number 2. And I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to write the answer there. And that would be 3, -2, 1, and 7. And some of you are saying, why would I use a matrix calculator or a graph calculator to do that when I can just add those together? Well, of course, something this small, it's not that big a deal. But some of those larger matrices, this would come in handy. And then some of the things that we're going to do with inverse matrices and some of the applications, you need to know how to multiply matrices together. All right, our next problem is they want us just to subtract. So I'm just going to hit second enter, and I'm going to go back and change my addition to a subtraction. And so I have -1, 0, 3, -9. Now I need to do 3 times A, so I'm just going to write 3 and bring up my matrix, number 1, and I'm going to hit enter. And I've got 3, -3, 6, -3. And again, you could do that a lot faster by yourself. But again, we're just learning the process. So this is going to be 3A minus 2B. And then I can write down the answer. -1, -1, 8, -19. Now, calculators can also multiply the matrices together. They did not ask us to do that on this problem, but we could. And we would just simply need to say A times B. And so I'm going to go back and do second matrix A, second matrix B, and hit enter. And it will give me the answer. And if the dimensions are not correct for it to multiply, it'll say error. And then you'll probably wonder what happened, and then you'll need to remember, oh, gotta check the dimensions. All right, so your assignment or your work for the day is just practicing using your calculators. Tomorrow we'll talk about how to use our calculator to find the inverse, and then what can we do with that inverse after we know how to find it. The work for today will be in your book on page 514. I want you to work number 7, 19, 38, 43, and 49. And again, this is using your calculator. So just getting familiar with how to do matrices on your calculator.